Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Let me just say a couple of words about myself. I think you heard that I'm Swedish, and I'm also alumnus or alumni, University of Lund, like you yourselves. I finished my doctorate in 1968 in political science. And since then, I have essentially worked outside of Sweden, so I consider myself a Swede in the diaspora, if you know what that means. It doesn't mean that you're lost. You still have your cultural roots in Sweden, but it means that you are essentially operating or living, working, well, in some other place. So that's, in short, my own is, as you will see as we go along, based on the notion that there is a difference between talking the talk and walking the walk. Now, talking the talk means essentially that you know what you're talking about, but you don't necessarily do anything other than that. Walking the walk means you're backing up your words with action. Now, this particular saying, talk the talk and walk the walk, is something that came up about 20 years ago. And it was essentially a concept or a notion that was born in the United States, developed. It came out of somebody who said something clever. Now, for a lot of people who come from developed countries, Sweden, other places in Europe and so on, you know, culture doesn't mean the same thing as it does, for instance, in Tanzania or in other countries. Culture is something that we have segmented, put aside, to mean only one thing, which is that when you go to the theater, or you go to the opera house, or you watch a movie, that's when you encounter culture. So we have culture on the side, but you have culture in the midst of yourself. You live culture. We have culture on the side. It's a privilege in entertainment, something that we can do when we want to, after work. But you are working right there in the middle of a culture that needs to be changed. Swedes don't have to worry about that. We have no problem in the sense of thinking about the rights of the child as something self-evident. But for me, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Looking at the technician. Thank you very much, Johan. And this was the start of this day, the keynote. And now we are going to discuss
the chairperson and the secretary for this session. And then after that, you want to have some kind of representative.
Of course, without disregarding that we have also strengths and we try to face our difficulties, our challenges, but
Yeah.
I don't know whether this is a problem in other countries. In my country, one of the challenges is also...
please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm representing Group A, and I'm sure you have already the question, which is, it should not simply be a straight line where you say from this stage up to stage 5, then we have closed, we have succeeded. No. We can
By the many challenges that Team B referred to, for example, building relationships, lobbying to electors, heads of schools, challenging stereotypes, trying to change behavior, interacting with.
Answering question 1, we shared experiences that I could sum it up as follows. In some countries, they have worked on 3 focuses simultaneously. For example, Colombia and China have been working in their projects on...
Change agents are doing very well in their various countries at whatever level. They are putting in their best. But one thing which came out was that most of the levels, you find that countries are going from this group to back, but a number of countries are in the empowering stage, and a few in the sustainability level.
Ways to approach different people and different activities. The second thing, people, they don't understand. They have no idea. And our influence on this one, we are saying for persuasion, it depends on, we mentioned 6.1, the level of education. In contrast,
my colleague has mentioned some of them, but we looked at the young ones, particularly in the schools that we work in. The young teachers and who are exposed are always ready to respond and work with the change agents, as compared to the old teachers who are want to stick to them.
And this depends mainly on some factors. The most important factors are the culture of the audience that is targeted to change, the religions and the beliefs of that audience, and social and economical status, also geographical situation, whether they live in rural.
Asked to try to change people's behavior and attitude, very often in circumstances where they are not necessarily thinking that they are ready for it. So the question is here, if you push too hard, you may actually lose. You have to take one step at a time. And in that sense, you have to be sort of respectful. You know, I said to you earlier on that you change agents are actually making history. But that
Malawi. Indonesia.
You could make that later. How to get the results, the results.